The most defining characteristics of Star Wars is the interplay of light and dark, the synonymy of which has echoed through time. The resonance of these states of being are part of what makes us human, and so it's no surprise that an epic space opera born from these two opposing ideas can have such a massive influence on our popular culture. Even though a fight for the triumph of the light side is a fantasy that is easier to get behind and understand from a moral perspective, the nuance in this narrative belies in that a path in favor of one's moral code is also one that is bereft of basic human emotion. Human emotions such as fear and passion are seen as being catalysts of total ruin and are paths to the dark side. Befitting of all that the Jedi stand for is the Jedi Code, which defines their belief system. There is no emotion, there is peace. There is no ignorance, there is knowledge. There is no passion, there is serenity. There is no chaos, there is harmony. There is no death, there is the Force. This is the Jedi Code, and it stands as a testament to the ways of the Jedi Order, as well as their attachment to the light side. The code forbade Jedi from forming attachments such as marriage and other specific individual bonds such as family and romantic love. Familial bonds and attachment create an innate fear of losing these relations, and the fear of losing that which you've grown attached leads to more powerful emotions such as anger, sadness, and ultimately vengeance. In episode 2, Anakin is troubled by deathly visions of his mother. In finding her, she dies in his arms from the actions of the Tusken Raiders. In his anger at having lost someone he loved, he sought revenge and massacred the entire Tusken tribe.
I killed them. I killed them all. They're dead.
In addition to this, in episode 3, when Anakin started to have nightmares that Padme would die in childbirth, the fear of losing someone he loved more than life itself became too much for him to bear. When he went to Yoda for guidance and direction, he was met with advice that went against his very nature, as the fear of loss was rooted deep into who he was.
What must I do, Master Yoda?
Train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose.
In his fear, he was manipulated by the Emperor in the direction of the dark side. Emperor Palpatine tells young Anakin about a Sith Lord named Darth Plagueis, who was so powerful that he was able to use the Force to influence the midichlorians to create life.
Is it possible to learn this power?
Not from a Jedi.
If not from a Jedi, then the answer lies within the Sith. The code of the Sith states, "Peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The Force shall free me." The chains that the code speaks of is the fear of death itself, and it's through the Sith that Anakin could truly control death and save Padme. Because of how the light side and the dark side are portrayed in the story, it's easier to fall into the trap that light makes right. The Jedi are guardians of peace and order who emphasize a detachment of emotion and view self-improvement through knowledge and wisdom. Their dark side counterparts, the Sith, are ruthless by design and view conflict as a catalyst for growth and improvement. The Sith Order is driven by emotion, the most basic of which being anger and fear. Whilst the Jedi are depicted as calm, put together and virtually warm individuals who possess all the wisdom in the galaxy, the Sith are depicted as grotesque, deformed individuals with unnaturally colored eyes and power-hungry tendencies. On some level, both descriptions are right on the money, but it makes you wonder if it's fair to espouse these values so basically. Emotion has been responsible for most of the world's suffering. Yes, emotion has consequences, but so does a lack thereof. The consequences of emotion have blazed a trail of blood and destruction that scarred humanity to the very core, but it's through emotion that our blood-addled history bears any meaning. We remember the pain caused by emotion because we have the emotional capacity to do so, otherwise all the world's tragedies would mean nothing at all. The Jedi are philosophers who view emotion as catalysts for war and eventual destruction, but the Sith are believers in the capability of emotion to change the world. To me, emotion is understanding. Just think about how different things could be if the Jedi did more to understand Anakin in his time of need. If they did not force him to cast away the very thing he valued more than his own humanity. The light side exists to prevent the pain of emotion, for it may lead to cause even more pain. The dark side exists to control the pain and use it to reach your own goals. Say what you will about the prequels, but they did bring a little nuance to the Star Wars mythology. Before the prequels, our view of light and dark was mostly black and white, but in the grey is where humanity lives. Although not canon in our normal timeline, there is a group of Force wielders who are neither light or dark, but have found truth in both. The Grey Jedi are Force-sensitive individuals who exist outside the will and the flawed belief system of the Jedi to find their own path, not beholden to the Jedi Order nor in line with the Sith. They find balance in the Force without fully embracing the light nor the dark side, and draw from both sides of the Force as necessary. Flowing through all, there is balance. There is no peace without a passion to create. There is no passion without peace to guide. Knowledge fades without the strength to act. Power blinds without the serenity to see. There is freedom in life, there is purpose in death. The Force is all things, and I am the Force. This is the code of the Grey Jedi, and it perfectly sums up what this video is inherently about. Both shades of the Force have their flaws, and there should never be a triumph of one over the other, for in the Force is where true balance should lie. If the dark side and the Sith were to gain dominance, life would become self-destructive and be extinguished. However, if the light side and the Jedi Order's quest for peace were allowed to come to pass, the galaxy would fall to apathy and eventually fade and die. Both light and dark are parts of the Force, and all aspects of the Force had to be studied and respected. This interplay of the Jedi and the Sith is what defines Star Wars, and just as no one living is all good or all evil, the light side and the dark side are not an extension of the Force, they're remnants of it. They are a part of it. As the Rise of Skywalker brings the Skywalker saga to a close, I made this video as part of Star Wars Defined, and in putting it together, I wanted to define what the story means to me. It's different for everybody, and the lessons I took away from it have shaped my view and definition of what the light and the darkness truly mean. It's not good versus evil, for there is no such thing. Morality isn't goodness, just as immorality isn't evil. We choose a path that makes us whole, and whether you're with the Jedi or you're with the Sith, there's no doubt that through this eternal conflict is how Star Wars will be remembered. This is its legacy. So here's to the Jedi, and here's to the Sith, and from me, the eternal great Jedi, I say, thank you Star Wars, for once upon a time, in a galaxy far far away, you changed everything. This has been Star Wars Defined. Sincerely yours, the Geek Writer.